Okay, these videos are going to be a vlog of my weight loss journey. They're for me, they're not for anyone else. If you don't want to watch them, that's fine. It's for me to look back in a year's time, just when I've had surgery, and to say, that's what I looked like before, this is what I look like now. And it's going to be a vlog of my feelings, my thoughts. It's about the process that I go through. So I've got, it's like a diary, I suppose, of my experiences. I realised that these are my experiences, they're not going to be the same as everyone else's, and I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube, I've seen a lot of people talking about their journeys, and I just wanted to do my own because I think it'd be really good to be able to look back and see how far I've come. So I'm going to have a gastric sleeve or sleeve gastrectomy, and I'm having it through the NHS. Now, I know it's probably controversial, people aren't really sure about this surgery, it's been a very long process, and I'm happy to talk about what's happened to get me to this point. I am booked in for surgery this year on the 18th of July, and that is just under 4 weeks away, or just over 3 weeks away. It's currently Friday and I've got surgery 3 weeks on Tuesday. I'm going to talk a little bit about the process of going through the NHS for this surgery and my experiences of it and what I've thought about it. So let's talk a little bit about where I am now. I approached my GP last year in March, and that was 2016, to ask about some support with my weight. I've always been overweight since I was about 17, 18. From then, I'm 30 years old now, and I've varied from 17. I've been about 19 stone up until my heaviest, which is about 22 stone. And I've sort of varied, it's gone up and down a bit, but it's always been around that sort of weight. So yeah, I've always struggled with it. And so I approached my GP. I've been on weight loss pills in the past from my GP. I've tried diets, Slimming World, Weight Watchers, and I've just never really got anywhere. My GP said that the criteria for being referred to bariatric surgeons is that your BMI has to be either 35 and above with a physical health problem, or 40 and above with no physical health problems. So my BMI when I approached my GP was 44 and I weighed 20 stone 8 pounds. So they referred me to the bariatric team, and that referral happened in March, as I said, and then I saw the dietitians in September. So that was quite a wait in between those two things. And I saw the dietitians after that for 6 months. So I saw them from September to May, and to March, sorry. And yeah, it was a long process. It was very hard, but it was also really, really good, really informative. The team at Worcester Royal Hospital are amazing. They give such good advice. They help you to identify why you struggle with food, why is your relationship with food different to other people's, and why do you struggle. And they give you ways of trying to tackle the issues that you've got with food, which I found personally really helpful. So following those 6-month sessions, I was expected to lose 5% of my body weight, which I did. And then I was referred for 2 pre-op appointments. So the first one was with the bariatric team telling you about the 2 different options for surgery. So through the NHS you can either have a sleeve or a bypass. Now, I personally think the bypass is a bit scary. I don't really like the sound of it. It's very extreme. They're bypassing some of your system, and it worries me. I don't like the sound of it. So I went for the sleeve, and I did have that choice. It was up to me to pick which surgery I prefer, so I've picked the gastric sleeve. And following that appointment, I had a second appointment where I met with somebody who'd already had surgery. She told us about her experiences and how it's impacted on her life, which was really useful. And we found out about the diets that you're going to have to stick to before and after surgery. So one of the diets that we learned about is the liver reduction diet, which I will be starting on Monday, which is 2 days away. And this is a diet you have to do for 3 weeks leading up to surgery to shrink your liver, so that when you have your surgery you don't get any cuts or anything to your stomach. And basically what it involves is eating 8 to 10 yogurts and a pint of milk a day and nothing else, so no other food. You're allowed water and tea and coffee, but nothing else. So I'm starting that on Monday. So I've been having my last meals over these couple of days. I've picked my favourite meals to say goodbye to food, which I've quite enjoyed actually, and I'm really excited to get started now with this next stage of surgery. So far I've lost 3 stone 8 pounds. I started my journey at 20 stone 8 and I now weigh 17 stone 1 to 3, but I've not lost any weight now for about 5 weeks. I've come to a complete stop, but I'm not really worried about that because I start my diet on Monday and then I've got surgery in 3 weeks. So actually it's motivated me to keep going with my healthy eating and to keep going to the gym. I've joined a gym during this process, which I go to about 3-4 times a week, and I really enjoy that now, and I know that I'm going to have to keep that up to try and tone up my body, because obviously once you've been this size you're going to have excess skin, so I'm going to try and keep going with that. As I said before, I've watched lots of videos on YouTube, and I don't feel like I've got the confidence to stand up on video and show how I look. I've seen people do that and I think it's really inspirational, but I haven't got the confidence to do that. So what I'm going to attempt to do, I'm a complete amateur, but I'm going to attempt to attach some pictures of how I looked at the start of my journey, how I look at the moment, and then I'll post some hopefully in each video so that we can see what changes are being made, and hopefully we'll see some really big ones, because obviously it's only 3 weeks now until I have surgery, and then hopefully my weight's going to drop significantly. So that's what I wanted to include in my first video. I don't really think I've got a lot more to say on this occasion. My next video is going to be during my liver reduction diet. It's going to be my first week. I've heard the first week is really difficult, so I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a pretty moany video about how hard life is and how I'm missing food, but that's the whole point of this, so that I can remember what I've been through, so that I know it'll all be worth it in the end. So that will be my next video, as I said, hopefully weekly, and we'll see how we go from here.